Episode 308, A Kidnapping. As a response to the attacks of the Empress's assistant, Bobby used his bloodline power to unleash a cascade of lightning. Since he had the Great Moon Pirate's true spirit with him, he didn't have to worry about depleting his true force. "Shameless brat!" the assistant shouted, blocking Bobby's attack. Although she deflected the rays of lightning, the energy vibrations caused them by continuing to move into the direction of the Empress, who was standing behind her. "Why do you want to kill me?" Bobby asked, trying to reason with the Empress at the same time as fighting her assistant. "The Great Moon Pirate asked me to give it to you. It wasn't my plan. I had no idea what it would do." "Kill him!" the Empress shouted again, ignoring Bobby's pleas. "I don't understand," Bobby thought. Mr. Hayden told me he knew the Empress somehow. Even though it was a long time ago, it doesn't make sense that she's so angry with me now. Since I'm Mr. Hayden's student and she knew him, she should trust me more. Since the Empress didn't seem to care about his link to Mr. Hayden and seemed fixated on killing him, Bobby decided it would just be best to try and leave. He flung on his shadow cloak and ran out of the pavilion. "Don't let him escape," the Empress ordered. "We have to catch him, send out an arrest warrant, and make a public announcement that he's a wanted person. Meanwhile, you run after him, and if you catch him, kill him immediately." "Yes, Your Highness," said the assistant, who then left to chase after Bobby. Although the cloak allowed him to move more swiftly and silently like a shadow, when the assistant concentrated, she could still see him. Seeing that she was catching up with him, Bobby activated the powers of his spiritual eye. The assistant shivered as a strange and powerful energy filled the air around her. Although Empress Louisa still couldn't move and was quite far away from the two of them by now, she sensed what was happening. "Don't look into his eye," she said. Her message arrived a split second too late. The blue light from Bobby's eye had already penetrated the assistant's mental energy. She trembled and fell to the ground. The Empress was shocked. Luckily for her, the message had gotten out while she was in trouble. A large group of experts was already heading in Bobby's direction. Among the two of the true human rank and one from the true mystic rank, there was no way for him to escape now. Although he could have overcome the experts from the true human rank, he knew that those from the true mystic rank would definitely be stronger and faster than him. Instead of trying to run further away, he instead turned back toward where the Empress was lying. He calculated that as long as he was positioned behind her, the expert wouldn't dare to attack him for fear of harming her at the same time. Although she couldn't move and was still very weak, she did still have some energy left. Seeing that Bobby was approaching her, she secretly circulated the vital energy of her true spirit. Since she had already reached the true Lord rank, she knew that just a small amount of her vital energy would be strong enough to kill Bobby if it had directed straight at him. Bobby had already perceived her plan. Before she could circulate her vital energy successfully, he pulled out a black belt that he was wearing around his waist. It was the Mystic Serpent Whip, which he had found within the Water Moon treasure. He flung it toward the Empress. On touching her body, it transformed into a long rope, which wrapped itself around her like a snake. The Mystic Serpent Whip was a dangerous weapon that increased his power by draining the energy from the host. It drained what was left of the Empress's energy. More importantly, it cut off her attempts to circulate her vital energy. "Guard her," Bobby said as if to the air. No one could figure out who he was talking to until Loki the cat appeared, as if from nowhere, and seated himself on the Empress's back. With the help of the rope, Bobby lifted the Empress onto the flying arrow shield and flew it at full speed toward the outer limits of the city. He sensed the pressure of the experts following close behind him. "If anyone dares come closer, I'll kill her," Bobby shouted out threateningly. Loki pulled the rope tighter to show that they were serious, although in reality, he was an expert at tricking people that had no intention of actually killing the Empress. "Stop!" an expert from the true spirit realm shouted. Bobby paused, but no one dared to approach him. Because of the flying arrow shield, they guessed that he must be a disciple of the Great Moon Pirate. They also feared that the shield might contain poison that would release automatically if they came any closer. Although the Great Moon Pirate had lived over 100 years ago, The stories about him were still well known. Among these were stories about the power of his invisible poisons, which even worked against those from the true Lord rank. Since Bobby's intentions wasn't really to kidnap the Empress, he stood where he was without moving. As long as the experts didn't come closer, he wasn't worried. "Run and inform the Imperials," one expert said. "Tell them that someone who looks like a disciple of the Great Moon Pirate has kidnapped the Empress." The news spread throughout the entire city. Everyone was shocked. The Empress was very powerful, and they could not understand how anyone could possibly have captured her without being killed first. As Bobby was waiting near the city walls with his hostage, a terrifying aura suddenly filled the air. "You better surrender now," said a voice so deep and powerful that it vibrated the air and echoed off the walls. Where's that voice coming from? Bobby wondered. Whoever is speaking seems to be from the half-step origin core realm. He used his left eye to scan the area to find the speaker. However, he couldn't locate anyone nearby who matched the power of his voice. He guessed that whoever the speaker was, he was still miles away. "If anyone dares come closer, the Empress will die," Bobby threatened, ignoring the mysterious voice and powerful aura that filled the air. "Everyone, retreat!" the Empress shouted suddenly, surprising the onlookers. Although she still couldn't move because of the rope and the effect of the depletion enchantment, she was starting to recover her clarity of mind. She knew that there were still people in the Imperial family who would be happy to see her dead and was worried that someone might approach on purpose with the intention of provoking Bobby to kill her. Also, most of her fame was built on these powers of charms, which she had mastered to perfection. Since she was very weak, she ran the risk of her charms being revealed to anyone who had approached her. Just then, the elite members of the Imperial family arrived on the scene. Among them were the generals, the elders, and the Emperor himself. "Please, do not harm the Empress," the Emperor said. He was a short, stocky man whose appearance didn't provoke much fear. Bobby couldn't understand why the Emperor didn't seem angry. Suspecting a trick, he had used his left eye to scan the area and discovered that the Emperor had hidden advanced cultivators from the true spirit realm or higher in various locations around him. "He's trying to surround me," Bobby thought. The cultivators could feel the energy of Bobby's eyes scanning them and realized they had been discovered. They informed the Emperor that he knew where they were and that there would have to be a change of plans. Abort the plans, the Emperor told the cultivators. "Whoever this boy is, his bloodline powers is stronger than I expected. We're going to have to think of a new way to deal with them." The generals and elders all withdrew from their positions. No one could understand how someone who hadn't even reached the true human rank had captured the Empress. Even though she wasn't an expert in combat, she had already reached the true Lord rank, and her skills in enchantment and charm were strong enough to defeat anyone of a lesser rank without the need of even entering into battle. As the Emperor and his men were thinking about what to do next, the powerful aura that had filled the air before suddenly reappeared, but much closer this time. A Grand Elder had arrived.